Peace, 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 peace. What's good? What's good in the neighborhood? I hope everybody having an amazing day today. Yes, indeed. Very productive day as well. Let me see something. I think I got a couple things here. Yeah. Let's see what we got going on. Peace. Peace. I just want to get to something real fast. One of my lectures I was doing. I want to find my notes. Here we go. Bam. Okay. Well, bam, bam. What's up? What's good, everybody? How y'all doing today on this beautiful day? I said I'm always come to you and give you wisdom, give you science, no matter what you believe. You should know who you are. You should understand who you are. And don't let nobody arbitrarily explain who you are. I had a conversation with a brother today. It was a good conversation. He said, brother, I'm starting to realize some things. And I said, what, brother? He said, what did he say? Let me say it right. He said, all Muslims are Moors, but all Moors are not Muslims, you know? You know? I said, wow. Okay. You said Big L Logan, Big Logan, any interest in what you have to communicate. Peace. Peace, brother. Peace and love. But yeah, I'm just waiting for a couple of my muftis to pop in. A couple other brothers. I'll be traveling to Vegas soon, then St. Louis, and then probably California. But I'll let my brothers and sisters know we got some big things just popping off real soon, especially in my city of Flint, Michigan, especially in St. Louis where one of my muftis at. You know, I always like to invest in myself. I'm not one of them people that's on here trying to make money off people. I produce all my books on my own pennies. I don't profess myself to be some guru or none of that. I just know what I know. And so I do real things in life. As you probably see me, if anybody follow me on social media, I do real things in life, you know. I use my own dime to get rental property in my city. I know how to do it. I have the whole list. I help a plethora of people become homeowners. Me and my muftis, we have land in the middle of Arizona and Vegas, 10 acres. We're going to probably build our homestead on once we accumulate more money because it takes money to do things. I'm always going to be transparent. But I always tell people you can do things with a group of people when you know who you are. You know, because I don't argue with no one's religion over things people can't prove and, you know, a lot of things that religious brothers and sisters promulgate, but they don't have a true understanding because the language 10 times out of 10 is off. And then a lot of times we don't deal with all law. We deal with arbitrary explanation of things. But even for my Moorish brothers and sisters, you know, that's profess that they're adapts and all this, and I say where an adapt is wisdom. Just like if you say you a master mechanic, then a master mechanic not only know how to do the work, but can teach it. And also read the language and understand the language. It's just like playing music and reading music. And so what I'm saying is this journey is a tough journey when a lot of brothers and sisters get into the science as criminals or like this is some type of popularity contest, which I always try to tell people, why do we act like this in our community? Especially those brothers, I call it in a conscious community. Like, why is it a debate? And why do we frown upon wisdom and understanding when a person's educated and from the so-called hood? We say the education system is some white man's schooling. But you want your kids to go and get a good education. And I say, where's the more schools? Where's the homeschooling? Because none of these people are equipped to do any of these things. And then when you see how these people are living, the thing that baffles me is people are so smart but so poor. I mean, people spend so much time on the corners arguing about this and that over a religious perspective, but not producing anything, not producing books, not producing literature, not producing homes, not producing gardens, not producing anything. A lot of people would be dressed like the Leviathan, the sea monster, because the Levites wore, all of them, they had their head covered. The high priest wore a turban with the jewel on it. I mean, we wore our tunic, cotton or silk. It's no disrespect to no one. It's no disrespect to nothing. But what I'm trying to say is, us as a people, we should start coming to a common denominator, and the common denominator should be wisdom. We should not be going on with this religious perspective. And it's like, to me, religion is like a game. And I say, okay, well, what about using your brain? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's the level that I'm on. Because if we're not going to talk about a Declaration of Human Rights, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment, manumissions, House Joint Resolution 75, when I explained that black was never used to describe ethnicity in the first century, the SF 181 form, those things that we must agree on, that's what's need to be valid. And then understanding the so-called religious perspective. See, these are all keys, but it goes back to what we're going to talk about today is your brain. Because after all this time, brothers and sisters, after all this education, after our scholars is dead and gone, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Sheikh Anta Diop, Ivan Van Sertova, Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Quells Wilson, all our scholars, even the European scholars, you know what I mean? Albert Churchward, Peter Lambert Wilson. It's so many. Wrote one-word Tartarians. The name will come to me. Even Spencer Dude that wrote the Aliyhites. Peter Moon that wrote about the science and what we promulgate here at the BBT and from academia. I tell brothers and sisters, we cannot and we should not diss academia because we didn't, how can I say, attain those type of skills. That shouldn't be something frowned upon when you have a brother like myself that say, yes, I went to academia. I have an undergrad in business. I have a master's degree in first century history and religion and Christian studies and leadership. Yes. Yes, I do. But also, I have other degrees in sciences, and I'm your brother. A lot of people's stories is not my story. I'm from the city of Flint, so it's some things that happen to me that may not happen to you. Like, my brother was murdered by someone that looked like me. My brother killed Jelani Goodman Bay. Peace be among his soul. My baby brother was murdered. My cousin Miguel Swain was murdered. You know, my friend Michael Blackmore was murdered. So this is all in my community. My friend Marlon Ville was murdered by the police. His brother, Mike Ville, was killed by his little brother. So what I'm telling my brothers and sisters, ain't no white man have no power to do nothing to me, and damn sure better not. Because I don't operate outside the parameters of the law. I operate in the law. I wouldn't be an L in the Bay if I didn't operate in the parameters of the law. I know all law. I operate in the parameters of the law. I must defend the law. This is what I be trying to tell Moors, and I said, what are you talking about, man? Like, you got this misconstrued. Because a lot of the things that people promulgate is just not more science. Why? Because you're not using your brain. It's just what it is, man. And it's no disrespect to nobody. I talk about this science all day. Yeah, I'm here. And I told people I'm going to be here for a long time. Because when this so-called more science stuff first got popular, during the so-called, the COCO, and you had all these brothers popping out everywhere saying that they can nationalize you and denationalize you and this conscious community and all this stuff. Then you dissing our scholars, you know, saying that they were taught by Europeans or Albions. Like they were talking about Alexius Levi. Like Noble Ali plagiarized. No, he didn't. Alexius Levi was nothing but a transcriber. That's all. Just like Pascal Beverly Randolph. Just like Alan Blavatsky. Just like Alex Crowley. They all had the science from the Moors, from the Sufis. I'm telling you what I know. Just like I showed you that Abd Allah, the Ethiopian rabbi, that taught Neville Goddard. They know it. I got one of those. I got the book written by a European that give all credit to the Ethiopian rabbi. You know? And a lot of people have been taught wrong. I'm telling you, it's only one temple. It's only one science. If you want the state booklet, I'll give it to you. These people have been lying to you. AA22 number ain't nothing but a trust fund. It ain't nothing but an affidavit. That's all it is. 101099 ain't nothing. I'm telling you. And these brothers should be honest with you. It's no law that's going to get no more out of court. I just want to set a precedent. And anybody can ask me anything.
Ooh,
What, Mom?
that microwave's on.
Go ahead. And anybody can ask me anything because I don't want you to get caught up in stuff. But before you ask me anything that may be pertaining to sovereign citizen stuff, all you got to do is research Roger Elvig. And that should clear up a lot of questions you may have. You see? Because more science is complex. It's just not reading from no whole bunch of books and talking about no whole bunch of old people. That's not more science. More science is knowledge, order, rhythm, astronomy, nature, group economics, agriculture, science, spirituality. Not no whole bunch of bum Negroes just quoting a whole bunch of old stuff with some stupid doohickey or with a whole bunch of stuff they bought off Amazon like that stuff means something. That stuff is meaningless. All that stuff is meaningless. All that stuff is paper terrorist. That's all that is. All of it is fascist paper terrorist stuff. America, why wouldn't you want to be a Moorish American? What would you want to be? These Negroes talking about they not know a Moorish American, they some Moroccan. I said, man, I'm a Moorish American. I'm proud to be a Moorish American. What's my nationality? Moorish American. What's my race? I choose Asiatic. What's my status? Free white. If you're not promulgating that, it's something wrong with you. Clearly it's something wrong with you. It gotta be. And whoever teaching you is a criminal, and they know it, and they using you as a test dummy. And we're gonna continue to promulgate this stuff. Just like we got somebody that's molested you and your family, and we keep on letting these fools resurface and keep just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and you known for scamming. You known for connecting with people that's scammers. Like, this is asinine. And I be talking about these brothers that be dressing up all on TikTok with black fezzes on, getting interviewed by women. Man, somebody need to be kicking these people in their asses. And all these Negroes be talking about, you can claim this. That's all these clowns be talking about. Or you can cancel corporate debt. None of these bums have no corporate debt. All this paper terrorist stuff for a whole bunch of bums, and after you do all this, tell me what to do for your life. Tell me. You tell me. I be waiting for these clowns. These be a whole bunch of poor people. And then these ladies be interviewing them like, what you got to do now and do this. Ain't none of these clowns done that dumb stuff. It ain't no precedented cases, nobody won. Research Roger Elvig. Research the Paradigm Group from Canada and see what happened to everybody. Peace, my noble Brian. I be trying to tell these people, man, slow down, man. But they don't want to listen. I said, okay, it's really finna hit the fan now, because now they got a whole database. I show the whole database and people jaw drop out their mouth. You talking about some FEMA camp. You really finna be caught up in the FEMA camp because why? You just said you ain't American. You just said you done expatriated from this so-called de facto government, and you let some fat goof clown with some fez on tell you some of the most outlandish stuff, and you went and did that stupid stuff. Now you get ready to be took from your kids and your family. You looking stupid. Can't nobody help you. I be telling these dumb old men, like, who's teaching you this stuff? And they still won't say nothing. And then they be trying to call me. I'm like, okay. And then the powers that be, no, I don't play that shit. Excuse my candor. I'm gonna tell you where you gonna go. Because this is a divine warning. And this is light for those that won't light. I've been warning people for years. I don't have nothing to change. I don't got nothing to sell you. That's why I said I'm a temple and a school. That's why I said it's only a matter of time. If all the scam artists, I could have been doing the same thing the scam artists been doing. What? Selling you a dream, selling you some fake ID, making money the same way these clowns do. That's why they got to keep reinventing themselves. I tell people this is a real thing that we doing. I'm telling you, man. Nobody says nothing. Every time I ask questions, nobody says nothing. It'd be clear. I'm like, okay, come on, let's talk about it. Because every more I know, they doing the same stupid stuff. Everyone. And then they get mad when somebody check them. I said, man, I don't give a damn how mad you get. How old are you, sir? They be this age or older than in their 30s, 35. I said, dude, you got to be a fool. I see why you going through so much. I see why your family think you stupid as shit. Look what you doing. Your actions speak way louder than your words. These Negroes think they know got a whole bunch of books, think they know something, but you operating as a total nut job. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what I know. All you got to do is go on TikTok, you'll see them. Who? All of them. I ain't got to say no names. All of them. They all saying the same stupid shit. Excuse my candor, y'all. All of them. I can go on TikTok right now. All the clowns with the black fezzes on. Them clowns. All them clowns. If they talking that same rhetoric, they clowns. Don't no God, man, teach you how to be no stupid ass paper terrorist and break no laws. That ain't no sheik. These some fake ass sheiks. Don't no sheik teach you that from no Moorish Science Temple of America. No trash like that. None. Not one. That's trash. And everybody know I'm telling the truth, man. Come on, before I even get into the topic, any questions on that? Because we can't still have grown men still doing the same stuff back in the day when my man was on the conscious community. We still, these old men still can't be doing it. Oh, I got to claim on that. Oh, I got to get out. I got to get out the government. What are you talking about? I'll wait. Especially those Moors that saying they want to expatriate from this de facto government. Where y'all at? You can't even explain it out your mouth. Oh yeah, we gonna expatriate from this de facto government. Okay then, who you allegiance with? Smart guy, I'll wait. See, these people are retarded. I'm telling you what I know, man. They selling people dreams. They selling people. Hey, man. Somebody talk to me. Every more I know, I met before they met me, they was in some shiggity. Every more I met before they met me, they were in some shiggity. Every single one. Every single one. And then most of them Hebrew Israelite Negroes be on the corner arguing and barking like dogs. And I ask people, why do we take the lowest energy to do these things? I be waiting for the Moors. I be asking these Moors, why do Moors think it's some special law that you can do or file and you're going to magically turn into a Autobot and no laws pertain to you? Where do y'all get that from? I wait. Nobody can give me nothing. They just be pulling up stupid videos or some traffic stuff. And then they pull up videos of people going to jail. And I say, well, what did these people go to jail for? Because ain't nobody fight for my rights. How can somebody fight for something that's already mine? Like, these people is criminals. Ain't nobody going to jail for me. This is what I be telling people. I be like, man, are we that blind? Brothers and sisters, are we that blind? I'm talking to my brothers that say they study more science. Are you that blind? You see how they depict the lowest of Moors, just like on BMF. They depict that how them brothers in that man house and we Moors, we don't go by no government. See, that's the rhetoric that these Negroes be promulgating out their mouth. That's the rhetoric that these Negroes be promulgating out of their mouths when they operate like that. Who? Them sovereign citizen Negroes. Them Roger Elric Negroes with fezes on. That's what I'm talking about. And then they portray that because ain't no way in hell they would have put that on BMF unless they ain't heard it or it wasn't rhetoric from some of these goofies. Because that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling them goofies. Because you can't be that old and still be dumb as shit with this science. No way. Excuse my candor. No way possible. I'm not even rocking like that. You cannot be this old and still be out here operate as a criminal. Riding without no license, riding without no all this. And I say, okay, when you put your car in go in that motion, what do it say? Do it say traveling or driving? I mean, people stupid as hell. And then if somebody crash into you, you're going to try to use the same laws that you say that don't abide by, that you're going to try to use to defend you. But you say the rules don't abide by you. Like a lot of stuff is stupid. Yeah, you got the right to travel. Horse, anything. You got your own land. You can have your kid drive whatever you want. I mean, I don't get it. And I understand about the right to travel. I get all that. I get all that. I ain't doing commerce. I get all that. I get all that. But see, I ain't the type, that ain't my plight. That ain't my mission. This is what I be telling y'all. That's a poor man's game. That's why I be saying it's a reason why people poor and it's a reason why people is rich. Pick your struggle. And all that stupid stuff, it's not going to do nothing for no man. It ain't going to do nothing for your kid. And I guarantee you won't be teaching your kid to do no stupid like that. You playing Russian roulette with your child, with your life. I don't play no Russian roulette. If I'm traveling and I'm traveling with my squad and we armed, our weapons is stashed a certain way pertaining to the laws that we traveling in. And we have certain permits. The same way anybody can get a permit when they have security. You have a permit. You let the people know and put them on notice. This is what's going on. I don't know what people talking about. You don't leave nobody in no burning house when you organize. See, the thing about brothers and sisters, they don't like organization. They be just thinking things that's going to happen magically. And that's why everything gets scattered. I'm telling y'all, because in all these facets, from the conscious community to the Ponzi scheme to the pyramid scheme, then to the Moors, talk about, oh, I can file this and I can get some ID and all this from the conscious community, all these different forms of scam to your own community. The prophet didn't teach no science like this, and I don't teach no fake science. I don't teach no sovereign citizen science. That's an oxymoron. You can't be no sovereign and no citizen at the same time. That's an oxymoron. So if anybody promulgating that, they off. We ain't go around calling ourselves nothing else but Moorish Americans. And if you don't understand the science, no reason you should be, or if you're not educated in civics and law and history, you shouldn't be going around promulgating something that you have no understanding and you don't have no precedent in law cases, no doc number or no Free Information Act to back up what you're saying. You just lead people down a slippery slope. And that's all that's happening. I'm seeing this happening to grown people. I said, come on, man, I'm warning people. I'm warning people. I've been warning people for years. I'm like, dude, I tell people, I say, man, you gonna go to jail with that. What? I said, oh, man, you done put that on the internet? I said, dude, you done put that out there for the world. What you mean? That's how people get indicted. I've been telling people this years ago, and look what happened to Big U and them. All them gangsters from L.A., look what happened. They got indicted for what? Running their mouth on what? Podcast. I've been telling y'all this years ago because the police got a thing called what? The Internet Task Force. How I know? I've been telling y'all this for years. Negroes don't listen, but they talk too much. So they'll get on the internet and just tell everything. Well, all the criminal shit, all the criminal behaviors, all these people that be on the internet saying they're dealing with Bitcoin and all this stuff is fake. But then they don't go to jail because you took their course and that's what you paid for. All these people that Ponzi scheme, the Black Wall Street, all the scams, they disperse and everybody have to reinvent themselves. Y'all don't see this? I told y'all, man. That's why one of my partners said, he was like, Sheik, he was like, we can talk about certain topics all day, but the truth is the truth. Why things, how can I say it? Why things are not spread the way it should be, because brothers are criminals. Think about this, y'all. Anybody can ask me any question. I might not even do my topic. Hell, anybody can ask me any question. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. Ask me anything pertaining to the science, pertaining to something that some sheik told you, especially the brothers that say they part of this and that and other. Ask me something about your science and your wisdom. You know, teach me something, or let's see, can we clear something up? Especially, this is all I be asking brothers that's from the Moorish Science Temple of America, or they say they Moors and all this. Why don't they have the state booklet? And why they confused about everything, what a state is, what a body politic is? Why they confused? If it's Moorish Science Temple of America, why they don't know what the 1099? Why they don't know none of this stuff? I'm just asking. I'm just asking myself. It's no disrespect. If it's Moorish Science Temple of America, it be blowing my mind, man, what these people be promulgating, and then what they saying Moorish science is and what it's not. I'll be like, wow, man. I'll be like, really? It's just the same way when I ask my Masonic brothers, what do y'all study in the temple? The same thing I ask my so-called brothers from the Moorish Science Temple of America, what do y'all study in the temples? Or are y'all just listening to some rhetoric and a whole bunch of old stuff? Because clearly ain't nobody being taught. Clearly, because I don't see no scholars coming out of there. I don't see no businesses coming out of there. I see a whole bunch of rhetoric. I see a whole bunch of rhetoric. I don't see nothing. And the Supreme Grand is all the temples. I don't see nothing. I see a whole bunch of people arguing. That's why I said I created a temple in school, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple in school. You know? Watch, let me see. I'm glad somebody asked a question. Let's see. Thank you for asking the question, too. He said, how does Moorish science coincide with the native tribes of America, black tribes, Cherokee tribes, etc.? Which, okay, well, how do they coexist? Like, that's kind of an oxymoron. How does Moorish science coincide with the native tribes of America? You just said it. Because they all Moors. All these teachers, just like Empress Gostin El Bey. Research Empress Gostin El Bey. It's all ancient history. So when I say Moorish, I don't have to say Moorish science per se. The wisdom, the understanding, the teachings, the science, the arithmetic, the theology, the masonry. It always, with the blacksmith, all that is science, the academia. Not Moorish Science Temple of America per se, because that's what Noble Drew Ali established. But way before that, the wisdom, the application, the understanding, or you might be talking about the 5 civilized tribes. All this is wisdom. You know? So I don't know if that's answering your question, but Moorish science it coexists with everything. Moorish science coexists with everything because it's knowledge, order, rhythm, astronomy, nature. It's the science of everything. It's the understanding. And so even when we're dealing with the Dogon, we had an understanding. We didn't have to go to the stars with microscopes and all that. We understood these things, just like the clock of destiny. It was embedded in your DNA. So all of it's your science. And so when we try to take things and say, well, how do this coexist with this? It's no coexistent. It's the same thing. It just might be under a different vernacular. You know, I'll give you another explanation. Just like when I talk about the Yoso Somos code, when I talk about the palindrome word, when you got a certain word to the right and a certain word to the left, haya. And you hear the so-called natives where they say hayya, 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 and you got ya to the right and ya to the left. That's a palindrome word. But we may think that's something different than what we're talking about. But when you start connecting the science and everything, you'll say, oh, I see. Just like when we do mantras and things, you'll say, oh, I see. So a lot of times they take things from our culture. How about that? If I say it like that, a lot of culture has been taken from the tribes. You see what I'm saying? And make it seem, oh, evil or this and that and the other. So if that's what you're saying, and then I know certain tribes, say if you come from a tribal family, I'm sure your family may have had a tradition. Your family may have a traditional dance and all that. So it's all culture. Just like when I talk about the Moorish dance. I don't know if a lot of people understand what the Sufis imitate. And see, it's so much science in things, but it's culture. And you'll see other cultures, no disrespect, trailer-dyke Albions will take your science and they, just like when I could talk about the county fairs. Just like when I talk about the county fairs, I'm gonna drop a little piece of wisdom to you. The county fairs used to illuminate so much stuff. Just like when I talk about the ground plans for Louisiana Purchase, and you will see the north, the south up top, north up bottom. You will see all these different things, and the people say, "Well, that was nothing but a map at a playground," but really, it's science in there. I did a whole lecture of this stuff. All this stuff being in museums, man. I love going to museums. I've done this in art academia because truth is there. We just not into this stuff, and we try to separate stuff. Just like it's so much stuff that's synchronized, man. I can bring together, and we can bring together from wisdom. We just don't want to be separated. We have let people draw a line down our back and say, well, this tribe is this, and this tribe is that, and this tribe is that. But what do we call ourselves? Just like I'll give you some work right now when you look up Amazigian. Look up Amazigian and tell me what you get. Just like, okay, they called you Berber. Well, what was a Berber? See, it's so much history things when they came to the Americas, what they saw. So that's another thing that we must be careful what we doing. When we draw a line down on our back, and when I say it's one nationality in many cultures, understand what I'm saying? One nationality in many cultures, because a lot of people don't teach Moorish science the correct way. Because Moorish science is all the tribes. Moorish science is the uniting of Asia. Moorish science doesn't diss anything when it's taught from the proper perspective. It's no disrespect. It can't be. I don't disrespect any Al-Islam Muslim, but I tell my brothers, if you are melanated and you a Nation of Islam Muslim, whatever, you still a Moor. Now, all Moors are not Muslims. All Moors are not Christians. But if you melanated, you a Moor. No matter if you like it or not. And that's what I'm saying today when I tell my people dealing with specifics today. What we call it, we should agree that we're Moorish Americans today on paper. If not, then we're going to say we ancient Amazigians. And we always been free. If not, I don't really have no time for you. I always tell people, what is the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15? These are simple things that you can't arbitrarily explain what I'm talking about. The Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15 clearly states, and I quote, you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. And the claim a child replaces the birth certificate. That's what it says. House Joint Resolution 75 clearly states you have a right to annex your El and Bay, or your Day, or your Ali. In 2012, all the mayors said that they gave credit to our Declaration and Proclamation. They gave January, from the 8th to the 13th as Moorish American Week. These is keys. So all the rest of the stuff is irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant what anybody else promulgate. To me, we're not operating outside of the parameters of the law. The Constitution with all 20 sections. I'm not no idiot on the internet that's talking. I'm not finna listen to no jackleg that done dropped out of school that look like they cheeks finna fall in because they smoke so much crack and snort so much powder to be telling me something with some stupid ass walking around with a police badge on all day and some raggedy old, what's them cars? Crown Victoria. And people, just like I told people, you think you really finna go to some Moorish court in somebody's basement that smell like mothballs? If you go to somebody's house and talk about this Moorish court and tell them about your real case, you got to be a fool. You got to be a fool to even do that. And anybody promulgating these things, you should be scared of. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. Come on, keep the questions coming. I was going to talk about auto suggestion, but hey, we'll see. Because I told people what's going to happen. Can't be mad at sheep. You can understand how us as melanated folks are skeptical using these terms under these partial systems. You see, hold on, what did you say, Noble? Under these partial systems, they are not the same terms that used under our original matrix system. And I agree. Just like when I tell, okay, just like I'll tell you when you go to court and they say, and the judge asks you or the referee say, well, do you understand? And it's none other. You say yes. Okay, well, why? I don't understand a damn thing. You got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Nothing you say that nobody's going to get you out of your case. And see, it's so much stuff that you should know. It's so much stuff that you should know. And that's why I tell people I'm not a know-it-all, but I know what I know. And I know it's a whole different game when it comes to different forms of the law. You better be proficient in everything you're saying. You better be able to cross your T's and dot your I's. You better know precedent and law cases, Doc Number Free Information Act. You better be in the doctoral library, in the Chicago Review. You better know quid pro quo. You better know all that stuff. Habeas corpus, you better know all this stuff. You better know this stuff, and you better have relationships with others. If you don't have no relationship with these others and these different people that certain people do, like myself and others, where you can get precedent and law cases in real time, current cases to be like, hey, judge my client in the parameters of the law. You ain't about to make no example. If you don't know nothing what I'm talking about and can pull up them precedent and law cases and them doc numbers and them Free Information Act and quote that stuff like that, boom, they don't have to teach you nothing. Because there's no excuse of not knowing the law in a court of law. You got to go in there and know how to, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. And I know what I'm talking about. And I'm coming with no emotion. I'm coming with no feeling. Truth has no size. That's why I've been telling these Moors, you too emotional. You're going to go to jail. Why? You too emotional. Anytime you're emotional and you just quoting fake stuff, you are in trouble. I tell people this all day. What God man gonna be in court all day? That's a Moor. You will never see me in court. You will never see me in court, unless I had to defend myself. Got no time, and it ain't no other reason you will see a noble like me. If me and my brothers promulgating a message, or we walking down and we want to bear arms, all we're gonna do is get a permit. We're gonna do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we are fraternal order. That's why. We legit, that's why. And we legit on paper, Mufti is Allah, armed or unarmed, security. What we talking about? What people be talking about? So we say, are we in to destroy the system or to stay under these elites and their fake corporation country? Ooh, Nasir, I'm glad you asking questions, brother, because ain't nobody else asking questions. And I respect all the questions you ask. That's another thing I do want to say. I don't know you personally, brother, or sister, but I respect your questions and I respect you keeping the dialogue going respectfully. I really do, because I love dialogue. So let me read your question again, brother, or sister, I'm sorry. He said, are we in to destroy this system or to stay under these elites and their fake corporation country? Okay, what's wrong with a nation in a nation? I ask everyone, when you understand finances and when you understand your religious rights, you understand. You have the religious rights trump everything. So you can have a nation in a nation. Think about what I'm saying. When we play in a certain game, when you don't understand your religious rights, then it's just like not having them. But when you understand all this stuff, you can play the game. The game can be played. Why? Because that's what they say it is. So I'm using that vernacular of it, but the game can be played in a way where it benefit you. It benefit us because the religious rights trump everything. So if brothers really be listening to what I'm saying and understand our tax exempt status and what we can do and build our own infrastructure, that's it. So I say, yes, we can be a nation in a nation. Why? Because we're born on this earth plane. We don't have to do nothing illegal. All we have to do is organize. Once we organize, organization trumps everything. Group economics trump everything. It's strength in numbers. If people understand, you look at all these big mega churches and all this. Okay, well, all that going into an infrastructure and into somebody's pocket. It's that simple. Hey, like I tell you, I'm not no person to confuse because I use all the tools. Why play the game when we just want to live free? Hey, like I said, once again, you in America, you have the right to do whatever you choose. That's the right of being an American. If a person want to live free, I tell a person, everybody don't want to live that way. So if a person want to live free, and I say, what are you doing to get to that level? So now we got to talk about real things because we can talk about what about this, what about that all day. So if a person want to live free, are you preparing to live off the grid, or you have a group of brothers, or is that something you doing? Maybe you can enlighten me on some things, because that's what I want to know. I mean, tell me, what's freedom to you, because my freedom may be different to a lot of people. That's why when I talk about the idea of subjective or objective, it can mean something totally different for me. That's what I tell people. I say, I don't know. I know for myself, I've been doing this for a long time. I have Amish friends. When I first started going to Grand Canyon University, I met this guy named Khalid. I met this guy named Khalid, Amish brother. He was staring at me every day. I used to wear my suits every day with fez. I was a little older. Boom. He was like, man, we just talk. He used to follow me in the library. We went out to eat. He was like, man, yeah, me and my family got 200 acres. I'm like, what? He like, yeah, me and my family got 200 acres. I said, where? He like, St. John's, Arizona. I said, take me. Boom. Asked my wife. He was like, brother, I'll show you some stuff. Boom. Took me up to St. John, Arizona. Blew my mind. I started crying. Yeah, 200. I started crying. Asked my empress. You can go on my YouTube page now and see when I first got my 40 acres up there. I don't have this, no cap. I don't got a cap. It cost me the price of a used car. It cost me the price of a used car. None of my friends, none of my family weren't going in. I said, me and my empress, she was like, well, baby, this is just the price of a used car. I said, I can pay a monthly fee on this and own this in a couple of years. Did it. Bam. But went up there 200 acres, blew my mind. They got big Amish-style log cabins and homes. I'm talking about stupid. Do you hear me? And when the Amish, this ain't no European Amish. This why I'm laughing. That's why I be laughing at brothers and sisters. I know how to get this land. That's what I be telling people. All people got to do is research me. Me and my Moochie's got 10 acres in Mojave, Arizona. Right in the middle. We be getting letters every month. Hi, the Burning Bush Tabernacle. We want to buy your land for this. Nope. We know we got prime real estate right off the highway. Prime real estate. As soon as you're coming from Vegas, boom, before you get to, coming from Arizona, before you get to Vegas, boom, she can turn right to the left, all this nice land. Then I'd have helped so many people get land, and I just get my finder's fee. I be honest with people. I say, when you get land, you got to make sure that you know what you can do on the land. Because all land, you can't just build this and that and the other. People be capping. I told you I've been doing this for too long. Oh, I'm going to build this whole community. No, you can't. You got to, not if you can't build all that. On our land, you only can, like on our 10 acres, we can build, I see what they say. We can have 2 structures on 6 acres of our land. About 6 acres of our land. I'm talking about, and then once we have animals on it, it's a different tax bracket. It's farmland. Watch what I tell y'all. And we're gonna have things going on where you can come ATV riding. We're gonna do something where we'll pick you up from Vegas, bring you to our land, do ATV riding. I got some stuff planned. I'm working with some developers, man, and like I told people, I'm gonna be done in a minute. We develop our school, our big campus, to where I don't want kids to stop going to school. I want them to deal with us. Man, I ain't worried about none of that. I ain't worried about none of that, Illuminati. I ain't worried about none of that. I ain't worried about no hologram. I ain't worried about no heart machine. I ain't worried about none of that. I ain't worried about it. That don't matter to me. None of that's going to take me off my focus. No holograms are going to take me off my focus. I keep telling people, we think none of this stuff is new. All this stuff is old military. I keep telling people this all old Masonic stuff. That's why I be laughing. I keep telling people who I am. Man, I got this old Illuminati card game that was given to me from one of my European professors. He a potentate. You know what I mean? Archon. I got all the manuals. That's why I be telling people, I got most of my professors were European potentates. I graduated from Grand Canyon University. I'm keeping it 100. I don't got nothing to hide from no one. Worry about no damn AI. That's old. AI, that's been old. That's old. That was all the way back when Terminator came out. You know? You say, what are my thoughts on a European? I don't have no thoughts on a European because ain't no such thing as a European. Moors are European. When you mean Tralodite or Albion, I don't have nothing on it. I don't have no feelings on them. I don't have no feelings on none of that. I told such stuff it's not even in my radar what to feel about it. They come from the same place I do, my mom. But hey, I don't have nothing against no one. I have no problem against no European. I don't. Most of my friends were killed by Negroes. You know? Care about what that's all about? I keep telling people, most people I deal with are Europeans. I stay in Arizona. I reside in Arizona. Most of the people I be getting my fruit and stuff from are misnomer Mexicans, my people. Or my Mexicos, my Olmec people, they do my people. I deal with all different nationalities. My vibration, I get all my herbs from the misnomer Indian store. I'm telling you, everywhere I go, I got European allies. It ain't no different to me. I deal with people. And but this work must be done. That's why I be telling people, when people be like, well, what about this? I said, well, if a person feel about this or say they want to live off the grid, I say, well, what are you doing to get there? Are you with a group of people? Do you want a community? Because we can talk about a lot of things which people do. And a lot of these people get in here just to make some money for themselves and disappear. I've been here for a long time. If I say we need to put 100,000 to get this, and I say, man, well, I'm gonna be part of it too, because I'm coming with 10. If anything that I say I want to try to raise, I'm a part of it. I'm a part of it. I never have nobody do something I wouldn't do. That's why I know when things be real and things be fake. I know it. I know when things be real and things be fake. I've been doing this for too long. I know a Ponzi scheme. I know a pyramid scheme. All you got to do is research what payola is. If you know what payola consists of, you'll be like, yes, and then I've been around too long. I call it out every time I see it. Every time I see it, I call it out. I know it. I smell it. I tell you what it is soon as it be thrown out. And it's no from disrespect. You should love what a person is doing, like a watchdog. You should want that. And then a person that's been proven to do exactly what he said he'd do with his own resources. That's why it take a little bit longer for me. You know, I didn't raise $4 million like somebody else and say they're going to open up schools and things. I haven't done that. Why I haven't done that and why I wouldn't do that? Because I know the dynamics it takes to open up a school and the resources and the people and the infrastructure it takes. What I would do is have like a 7th hour. What you mean? A place where the kids can come after they get out of school. I'll be picking them up in our buses, bringing them till our 7th hour, and the parents be able to pick them up after they get off work, after we done educated them who they are, strength and fitness, some skill training, teaching them skills, microeconomics, macroeconomics, other skills. And then in the summertime, when the parents at work and the kids are out for the summer, you get to bring them where? To me. Why? To summer camp. Because y'all know most of these Negroes that be following me, they ain't grew up in no damn Morris Science. They asses grew up in the church. And if they get on here and start lying, I ask your mama. Real talk. In the summertime, they try to send you to what? Summer camp at the church. Real talk. Wasn't no more sign. You ain't know no Maz in your city. Your dad was a Mason. You ain't know nothing about it. Your dad was going to get drunk. You was going to the church with all the sisters. Y'all know, I'm telling you, because that's what it was. So let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100, man. Thank you. See, that's why I love Royal District. See, Royal District, brother, man, you got to kick it. You know my number. We got to kick it. I'm telling you, man, I'm a real person. I do real things, man. I'm trying to tell you. I love real people, and I feel your vibration, and I know you feel mine, because these Negroes be lying through their goddamn teeth. This ain't no reason to lie. Like, that's what I be killing people. Oh, I grew up in the science. Why? Oh, your ass ain't grew up in no science. Your damn mom and daddy was church, Baptist church, Jehovah, the goddamn Witnesses. You out here fronting. I don't want to hear what's been true to our people. I get that. I ain't tripping on that. I'm saying what it is. That's why you appreciate it more. That's right, because people ain't have it. That's what I be telling people. I said, more people be capping. I said, you only know, like, just like if you grew up in a family as a young child, people didn't know this. In high school, people didn't know a certain thing. And then all things is not, when a person says this is not right, and I say, why it's not right? The way we've been taught is not right. The way we've been taught is not right, because we don't diss male or female. In our science, the male and the woman sits on the throne together. That's immaculate conception. So it's so much science when I talk about culture. Because when it's taught the right way, in the church house, when it's taught the right way, you don't have to go nowhere else. I can use the Bible for anything that you want. Anything that you want, what you want, because law governs all events. Law governs all events. Anybody want to play the game with me? I can use the Bible for any level of law you want. And I guarantee you will sit on your damn hands. And it ain't no disrespect to nobody, because I done did it before with professors, 3 times chair. I know it. I'll be like, man, let's stop the cap. And I have to get belligerent, because I know the game these people be playing. They be trying to play linguistic apartheid with someone. But when you put a person in their right place and show them that they little snowman degrees mean nothing. See, this is what I be saying. Like, come on, man. We ain't finna play no game. You ain't finna play no game with me. We're gonna use the science. The science is what it is. And in those biblical texts, it's science. All the compass and the square is in the biblical text. All levels of masonry is in the biblical text. Brotherhood is not frowned upon in the biblical text. Jesus, Yahshua, was under the order of who? Melchizedek. Brotherhood in the Bible is like good oil going down to the hair, to the beards, and to the shirt. Y'all understand this wisdom, this understanding, and nothing is secret with me. It's sacred. See, these is keys. These is keys. We can. I'm trying to tell you, the science is right there. When the science is right there, what? 360 degrees is only one level. You know, when a person talk about the circle, right? And the square, which is the hex alpha. That's all wisdom. That's 360 degrees of wisdom, they both. When you use that tool, that's in your Moorish Quran. These are the tools in the toolbox. What's that, chapter 5? So when I be talking to my Masonic brothers that took an oath, they know what's laid out on the tables. It ain't nothing but the Osiris mysteries. I'm telling you what I know. It ain't nothing but the Inu Elish. A whole bunch of old ancient tablets. Why? Because in the Bible, what Moses learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians? Yeah, brother, I know about the Sibyls. Brother, we know, yep, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Believe me, I do. If people know me, they should know. I understand. I understand the Sibyls. I break down the Nandi of the waters. I understand. I understand where you're going, brother. I'm a more down. I understand all science and craft. Believe me, I do. I'm down with the Orisha. I'm down with the Santeria. I'm down with it all, brother. I understand that. I understand that the woman's the Mayat, the garden that produced food and life. I get you. I understand that. I understand that conception. I get that. I get it clearly. I get the masculine and the feminine. I get it. You see what I'm saying? We get that. We get that. We get that concept. We get that. But we can go deeper and deeper with it. But I understand what you're saying, brother. When we say that statement. You know? Yeah, he had on the rock, I know. We need to stay on that concept 100. Well, It's the same. Well, you don't have to. Well, the women need to know that. The women need to know that. Because if nobles already know that, the women need to know that. We got the lesson books. The women need to know that that's out of line. Men that have wives or men that don't have wives. You can't talk to a woman that the thing you can't clean up no one outside of households. So if brothers have women that ain't into the science, we'll just be picking, we'll be pointing, and anybody can point. Anybody can point. How are we raising our daughters? You know, so it's for the empresses, you know, to straighten their crown up, and to be brought up in the right science. It's for us to introduce the science to them, because we can say that cordially that the black woman is God. I get that concept. I get that. I know a lot of people say the black man is God. So what are we saying? If the black woman is God, if the black woman is God, are we saying that the black man is not God? Just like to say to be righteous, so that means it have to be something that's unrighteous. I'm just dealing with wisdom. If I can go deeper with the wisdom, it's no disrespect to no one. But I always want us to think. As a philosopher, as a lecturer, I want us to use our brain. Exactly. Just like, watch this. Let's ask the question. Let's see, could we use our hippocampus? Do you think it's possible to move a mountain? Watch this. Think about it before we answer. Do you think it's possible for a man to move a mountain? Let's see what anybody say. Is it possible for man to move a mountain? Let's see what anybody say. Is it? The mind is infinite. I wouldn't say no, by the way. Come on, somebody else. Somebody give me an explanation. Because when we say something, we have to explain it. Just like in academia, I had to do a capstone after every class. I don't care if it was business. I don't care if it was everything else. All things is possible. Okay, I get that, but how? If I make that statement as possible, then I should know how to make that possibility reality. So how is it possible? I can't just make a blind statement, with all due respect. So how would that be possible? What would be the process in a general perspective? Yeah, come on. I want to see if anybody pick it up. When I be talking about that auto-suggestion, how we little our mind ability, when I talk about time, consistency, persistence, how a little by little, grain by grain, it can be done in time. Grain, I ain't say at one time. I ain't say how big that mountain is, you know? I just told you, you know? I just broke it down. It's that simple. You said, how can a man move a mountain, understanding that we are spirit, we can do anything? I just broke it down. That simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. It ain't no other way to explain it. Because see, man, I know what the mind can do because everything started with a thought. I know the power of the mind. I know what the mind can do. How? Because I'm a witness of it. This is what I'm telling you. It's like if we have the skills, the first thing we do is start what? What comes in the mind first? Doubt. That's the first thing come in a person's mind. Doubt. Oh, I'm righteous. Well, if you righteous, then you have to see some form of someone unrighteous. So what are we talking about? We just talking about a degree. Why? Because the pendulum is supposed to swing the same way to the left as it does to the right. Okay. So you're dealing with your whole body. Or half of your body. You have to cut half of your body off for righteousness, and you say a part of you have to die? No. That's no. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? The mind, understanding the teachings, the right teachings, the understanding, the level, the degree. People can come to you with so many catchphrases, but do they know how to use these skills? I'll give you a little goofy Masonic trick that these lower level Masons be playing this goofy game. If you wanted to measure the ceiling without getting a ladder, what would you do? What would you do? And none of my muftis don't answer it. What would you do? What would you do? A simple mathematician should know this answer. Simple mathematics. This is basic mathematics. The babies that I teach, on your pencil, it comes with something on there. When we deal with architecture, we know how can a person build themselves up and they don't know architecture. They don't know the tabernacle built without hands. So I wait. Can anybody answer that question? I'll wait. Let's see. Can anybody answer it? This is very simple. Very simple. It's a very simple equation. Don't even take no long thinking. Can anybody give me the answer? It shouldn't even take that long, especially my Masonic brothers on here that might be on here. I'll wait. Anybody got the answer? Come on, man. Somebody got to know this. All my smart people on here. I'll wait. Or just say we don't know, so we ain't got to waste time. And I'll give you a hint. I'm waiting for somebody. Come on, somebody. Anybody got it? Come on, somebody. Or what somebody say? How can you measure a ceiling without a measuring stick? Use your body part. No, that ain't what I said. I said, how can you measure the ceiling without using a ladder to measure the ceiling? What would you do? 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 If we don't know, just say we don't know. I get your pun, or no pun, whatever, but do we know the answer? Do we know the answer? I'll wait. Do anybody know the answer? It's a very simple mathematical equation. I'll give a couple more minutes. Anybody can get it. The questions don't even make sense. You can't measure the ceiling without a ladder. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And with no disrespect, but with that, I would just say I didn't know. I wouldn't make a statement without knowing for sure. That's the other thing as a student. You know, I would never open my mouth to show I don't know nothing. With all due respect, with all due respect, with all due respect. We're talking about in architecture. You know what's above is below. So I just gave you a hint. What's above is below. So what would you do? If you want to measure a ceiling, what's above is below. No, what's above is below. I said if you want to measure the ceiling in any house, say your house, without getting a ladder measuring the ceiling, what would you do? I just gave you a hint. What's above is below. So if what's above is below, what would you do? What would you measure? I gave you a hint. This should be simple. Ding! Ding! I mean, that's what I tell people. I say when people make things, I say the architecture. I said, come on, you can't do architecture without having certain base, without having certain facts. This is what I say. That's why I say it's science. I don't care how nobody feel. It's not arbitrary. We can't operate on feeling. The truth will make you free. It's only one truth. It's only one science. Everything else is arbitrary. Everything else is a belief system. And right under the word belief is belie. I'm dealing with science. And I promise you, this is just simple. This is basic. This ain't nothing complex. With all due respect, This is nothing complex. Oh, my chair too close. Yeah, it always come in handy. I tell you, when people come off, man, I can show y'all something, man. You can be like, man, how do you know this? I can show you when a person coming you all off a degree. They come in with linguistic apartheid every time. And most people don't know that they be getting a spell cast on them every time. That's why I show everybody how to use your compass and your square. You must know how to use your compass and your square. You must learn how to use your compass and your square. Because your compass and your square circumscribe the world. It's just like the circle 7. That's all it is. The Rosicrucian and all that stuff is all Morris science. It's all Morris science. You know? When we talk about 360 degrees, the circle and the square, they both have 360 degrees, just different parameter. When you take that circle and you take that square, I can take that circle, boom, line, 90, 90, 90, 90. I can take that square. I can do corner, 90, 90, 90. I could put them in together. They both are 360 degree of wisdom. The graduation hat and the fez. And then the fez is Leviticus, what is it? Leviticus 25 and 14. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But the soft fez, when you really get the soft fez and turn it inside out, it represents the Liberty Bell, the esoteric of it. And every European Mason know that. That's why they wear the fez in clandestine. That's why the marriage license is under the DAR. The DAR is the Daughters of American Revolution, which is our misnomer. Black ladies are Eastern stars, but you stars of the East. And you'll see they so-called pentagram is turned a little bit. Their pentagram is not straight up, represent arm, leg, arm, head. It's turned straight up with the horns. No disrespect. I can go deeper with the wisdom, but it's just what it is. We don't take no oath. All the science is yours. It's a book called Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man by Albert Churchward. I got all these books. I converted them to all the PDFs. All you got to do is get with me. You can get them. It tells you everything. I got a book called Allah, the Healer, the Mystic, the teacher of Neville Goddard. Break down all the wisdom. None of that stuff science came from. No disrespect, no European. No disrespect, or no Alvin, no Trelodite. No disrespect. All those great thinkers, they was learned by who? Mystics, Moors. No disrespect. And in their autobiographies, they'll tell you. I'll be telling people big facts. If people look me up, I done did these lectures on college campuses so much. If I used to have a lot of my colleagues from GCU used to be on my page. They used to be like, well, he telling the truth. We get all these books from him. Look how much they cost. And I'll be letting people get this stuff for pennies. All you got to do is connect. I have businesses, but when you connect it to me, that's what the connection gets. Any other questions? We've been on here an hour. But it's just what it is, man. I don't come from no hate or nothing like that. But the science, we can't diss the science. We can't diss the Kemetic science. A lot of times connotated Hermetic. We can't diss the science. We can't. Because if we diss the science, then we dissing ourselves. And we definitely can't diss the holy books, Then that'd be asinine. Explain the compass and square. Is they're referring to our national census. The compass is the compass and the square. Well, it could, when we talk about this. Well, yes and no. But the compass and the square, it's just like in more science. The compass and the square is used to circumscribe the world. So when you're under that compass and that square, when you're under that understanding, those tools in the toolbox, you should be able to break down. That's all I'm saying. Those keys, like I can explain it, but remember, when I talk about mathematics, remember I said when you know something, then you had to explain it and do a capstone, meaning you had to know it and had to live it. So the compass and square is just a way of living, just like C. Freeman L. broke down. You know, is like it's basic science. Like the first thing is perfecting self. The first, like, it's no magic. I promise no people, we are born with these things. It's just like doing right and wrong. We don't need to be under no God concept to know what's right and wrong, per se. These are things that's embedded in your DNA. Like these are the things that I try to resurrect for my brothers and sisters. I'm resurrecting something that's already there, restoring, you know, bringing things back to our remembrance because a lot of things that we already had was through back to us as religious acts and not ways of life. And so when I talk about that compass and that square, it's so many degrees of that compass and square. It'll take, man, so many lectures and so many degrees of angles, man. Because the compass and the square is okay. Understanding, how can I say? One on in more science is understanding all the three religious rites: the Paraclete, the Fatimite, the Jerusalem of the Christian. But then it's understanding all the Sephirats. Then it's understanding all history. It's understanding a constitutional law. It's like it's so much, you know. It's not just a concept when I say the compass and square is just some Masonic a code or some catchphrase where I just said, how do you measure the ceiling? That's not it. So that's why I say when those specific questions are asked to me, I can't just answer it like that, you know? You know? You say, what you say, brother? I be talking to a Christian at work. It amazes me the level of consciousness difference. It's in my heart to help. You say it's in your heart to help. You say it's in your heart to help, but it feels this man has no soul. That ain't for you. You already planted to see that ain't for you. I tell people everything is a gift. Remember that. Everything is a gift. I tell people everything is a gift. And it's the delivery. Everything is a gift. Because I can't save nobody. You can't save nobody. That's for them. I always be skeptical, careful too when I tell more about talking about these certain things at work. Because I'm always going to be transparent. Because I tell brothers when they at work, you traded your hours for those dollars. I don't care about your religious perspective at work. I'm just saying, like all the corporate jobs I have, I've never got into that conversation or had any discourse with anyone because I don't operate like that. You know, I don't operate like that, and I don't involve myself with those type of questions or things. But if anybody asks me, anything, I'll just let them know who I am, and I keep it pushing. I never get into no debates or nothing like that. On paper, I let people know who I am. But in the real world, when I see Christians and all these other things, because I don't have an issue. I've lectured at Christian churches and things, but I don't debate any of them. I just open the same book that they say they believe or that they say they promulgate, and then I have a biblical question with them. And when I open the scriptures out in that specific setting, that's what it's for. And then you can't deny what's in the text. You can believe anything you want. So when a person is saying if I'm having a discussion of biblical history, then I have to be biblical. I don't care how no one feel or what nobody believe. That's fine. But if we have the same book, you're not going to arbitrarily explain what they're saying without breaking it down. You just can't do that. And that's with the Quran as well, or any holy book. It's just not going to happen with me if you don't know the language that it's written in. It's just not going to happen from scholarship. Because a person would be arbitrary and then they get to preaching and telling you how they feel, and that's not what we're doing. We're not basing this on a feeling. We're basing this on what you can prove, and let's deal with the science. So when you're dealing with some science, you're going to have some different pieces of science with you to fact check what you're saying. The language, you're going to have the lexicons to go with the language. You're going to have these different things. You're going to have to be able to back up what you're saying from scholarship to be able to stand on that scholarly. And that's all I'll be saying with this wisdom and even with this science. The last thing I can tell brothers is come to class and learn. It'll clear your heart up. I'm telling you, I tell my brothers all day, the science is not to convert or convince anyone of nothing. I'd rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. I'd rather a person pass me by and be like, man, I felt that brother's spirit. I know he polite. And then if that conversation came up, the light will come. But for me and for my advice to anyone that's on their spiritual path, that's your spiritual path. I tell all my muftis that. I said, be careful of getting in those conversations at work with brothers because it's meaningless. It's meaningless. And that's why I always tell people, like when we get into the judging, because the closest place to find God, Allah, is in the heart. So if there's good, then it's bad, or if this person is this, I say, well, why is this person is that? Because they don't believe how we believe, because I can agree with a person to disagree, because I don't have to talk about God or anything. I can just talk about creation. I can talk about fire, earth, air, river. I can talk about the 7 Kemetic principles. I can talk about water. It's some things that we're going to have to agree on, and we don't have to agree on a religious perspective. Just like I know so many brothers that's atheists. Atheists don't mean they devil worshipers. They don't believe in this pie or this sky god thing. Okay, so when I talked to them, I said, well, would you feel that the closest place to find God is in your heart? And a lot of my atheist brothers say, well, you know what? They say, well, you know what, brother, I can roll with that. He's like, but I don't believe in no sky god. I say, okay. I say, do you believe in water, that without water, everything would die? I can roll with that. So I say, do you believe that it's a creation and that everything was created? Or some of them might say the Big Bang. I say, that's still a form of a creation. They say, well, okay, well, we can agree. And so I ain't talking about no God this or no sky God this. I can have a decent conversation and come to an understanding. Because if I can give life to anything as an adapt, I can sit and have a conversation. Just like I can go to the continent of Africa or somewhere and be sitting with my Mordines, or the Zulu, be sitting with those type of teachers and be able to have reason, So this is what I tell people. The religious concept and the Buddha aspect or the peace within or the Sufism is not a religious concept. And that's why I always try to tell more, as we get to a higher level of understanding, and this Sufism and this Tasawwuf is really not, the conversation almost stops. You know what I mean? In that perspective, because that's not, we don't want to offend anyone. And just a conversation of combative conversation in a wrong spirit can offend. I know this for a fact. I've been on this earth plane almost 48 years. I know this. I've been in some tough situations as well. So I know this. It's almost saying it's easier to get honey, it's easier to get bees with honey. To what? Adapt, not disrespect. So if I'm trying to get a whole bunch of youth to understand the concept, I'm not gonna diss them at the level that they are. No. I worked in youth. Let me tell you, I worked in youth. I worked as a behavioral health therapist in living facilities. I understand what's going on. A lot of these kids are abused. A lot of these kids are abused by parents and family. So it's a level of understanding. It's a whole, why, it's like when I deal with gangbangers, it's almost the reverse same thing. You got to get to the root of the thing. Why is this situation? Once you understand, then you can start correcting and all that. But see, you have to get to the root of things. That's why everything has to be from a good perspective. everything, our spirit agrees to spirit, no matter what platform you got in. When I first got in behavioral health therapy and dealing with those living facilities, man, I had so many horror stories. People was telling me I didn't have not one. I didn't have no problems with not one. My parents come out here and tell you, be like, no, anybody will tell you I done got awards. People see me all on my Facebook page. I'm at the news station with all the kids doing all that. No problems. Then when I figured out how to do it on my own, I said, man, I can do this on my own. I can get my own contracts. You just figure things out. And so for me, for myself, I just said, only reason why I only can talk about myself and the things that work. I've done with kids that's all different backgrounds, you know, autistic, everything, you know. Hell no, I wouldn't want nobody to tell me no, I'm no bum neither. Hell no, I wouldn't. That'll hurt. You know, we got to look at it why, these circumstances. You say, if I'm a bum, I would want. I get it. I understand. I get that. That may work for some people, you know, just like the Bobby Knight coaching might work for some people. I'm not dissing nothing. I'm not here to diss nothing, because that may work. That may work. But is that the only way? No. Why? Because some people was under Bobby Knight and they didn't like it. Isaiah Thomas flourished in it. He needed the discipline. You know, so all I'm saying is, for me and myself, that I can speak from a real place and doing these things, you know, I wasn't a pushover. I definitely, you know, showed my authoritative perspective, but I also was understanding. I didn't let any kids push over me, and they had kids that was biting people, you know. I mean, it was little kids biting people, and I used to work for this place called Youth Development Institution in Arizona. Look it up. See how crazy it was. Youth Development Institution. I used to work as a counselor. I'm telling you, I seen so much stuff, and I seen a lot of the kids how different situations. Then I worked at this place called Ohana Corporation, where we deal with kids trying to get them adopted. And that system is so crazy because a lot of them kids in foster care, a lot of them parents that be foster parents be wanting them, but then man, a lot of them kids, man, they be doping them kids up with so much damn medicine that it make you mad. It seems like they just giving these kids medicine for contracts or something, and then it's a false sense of these kids getting adopted, because when you're talking to potential families, you can't tell them too much about the kids until they really go to the next level of the adoption process. So a lot of their medical things and a lot of their acting out, you really don't disclose. And when that's fully disclosed to a lot of them parents, man, don't nobody want these kids. And then they taking so many medicines, I'm telling you. So I get what people be saying, you know, with these things, but also for me and from a teacher and from a map and coming from my city of Flint, Michigan, I agree with you. I think both ways can work. We just a person have to figure out when to use those tools that's in your toolbox, because that's why they're tools. So I believe you don't always need to hammer things down. I think sometimes you need to know how to use reason a lot, and you don't have to use force. You know, is force needed? Absolutely. But you have to know how to deal with the two. And that's all that I have. But I thank y'all for all the questions, man. Like I said, if anybody want to get any literature, I do have a couple companies. One of our companies is called mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z, where I converted a lot of books to ebooks, where you can download on your tablet or your phone, or you can go to Office Max and Staples and they'll print it and bind it. I sell them for a price on there. We have another company called bindedbooks.com, where we print and bind expensive books. We also have Moorish Haberdasher, where we sell all our Moorish American regalia, fezzes, turbans, clothing, and much, much more. We also have our tea company at Herbs and Mayat. We also do our own web design at ALO Design Pros. And if anybody like good hip hop music, check out my brother Brian Hicks Bay. And his new album is called Transportation of Raw Materials, streaming on all platforms. Album is fire, I promise you. But if you haven't, please subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. And man, hit me up, man. Hit me up, Morris. I'm telling you, I got anything. I got a full library. I got over 1 million books and documents. I'm telling you, I got everything you need. I have private classes and everything, man, that where there's no reason we have to argue on here. We can sit down and have reason. And the reason why a lot of brothers don't agree, because if nothing is hidden, a lot of brothers are just not introduced to the wisdom. Nothing is hidden. I promise you this. Nothing is hidden, brothers and sisters. We just need to be introduced to the wisdom. So with that being said, do anybody have anything as we close? If not, I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for tapping in. Share this, man. Hit your what is that? That notification, ain't that what they say? Hit that notification button on your your YouTube doohickey, whatever, man. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Temple and School at Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. And we also on Facebook. But thank y'all, man. Peace.